Okay, so we are doing something a little different today on Barely Filtered. We are going boots on the ground. So fires are not contained. It has been, oh my God, how long has it been now? Last Tuesday is when it started. It's been over a week. And you know, there's just so much information out there. Obviously, this has become very politicized. I'm going to try to come at this with the most objective lens. I don't consider myself Republican, Democrat. I really do consider myself a free thinker. Although, you know, people will tell me my views are a little lean a certain way sometimes. I don't really care, to be honest. I feel like when a disaster like this happens, everybody kind of scrambles, and you know, I think there were mistakes made. I also feel like probably was the perfect storm, but what do I know because I wasn't there? What really happened? What should have happened? Of course, everybody's like, you're not qualified, you don't know anything about climate change or fire, or which is true. We have the right to know, like, what actually went on, and I personally don't think the politicians are the ones who are going to tell us the truth from either side. So that's why we are on our way to hear it from the source. I was inspired to do this because the elected officials who run our state and who run our city are claiming that there's nothing they could have done differently. And personally, I feel that that sounds like bullshit. Oh wow, it is having me go all the way around. Do you think that's real? I mean, we can walk there.
Hi, this is Kelsey.
Okay, so we are just like heading over there, but I just put it in my GPS from Santa Monica, and it's telling us to go like all the way up Calabasas area. Is that how you go?
So yes, you do the 405 to the 101 and then the canyon, not the very far back road. PCH is still closed.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Of course, yeah, no, good luck. And then like I said, all of those first responders that are there, you can talk to them. Some of them may say they don't want to be on camera, but they can just talk to you and get whatever you need. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Bye. No, I know. I didn't think it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be the. Oh, it's 47 miles. Okay, so normally it would take from, I mean, we were in Santa Monica. It would normally take us 10 minutes to get there. It took us an hour and a half because we had to go all the way up the 101 around. Now we're in Calabasas. We had to go all the way around the valley to get over here. And of course we timed it right at traffic, and I didn't charge my car. I don't know what's more upsetting, to see things unfolding around you that are it's just utter chaos, the homeless crisis, the fires, and to see your friends' houses burning down, and for them to tell you there wasn't water there. Like, and then the first thing you hear in response to that is just one excuse after the next. It makes me furious because nothing is going to get solved if we can't point a finger somewhere. And it's not to shame people. Like, I'm sure Karen Bass thought she was doing the right thing with that money. I do think that we need to hold somebody accountable. Whoever is in charge is not well equipped to run the operations around here, because it doesn't seem like anything's getting better and looks like everything's getting worse. To not have water and fire hydrants, like, that feels like a third world country. We pay the highest taxes, some of the highest taxes in the world, and we're not able to even access water properly. I'm pretty sure we also have billions of dollars in the government. Like, why can't we be saved too? So not only can we not believe the news, but also on social media, you can't even believe what you see, because I saw a video where they were like, Mexico comes to help Southern California with the fires, and somebody comments and they're like, those are pine trees. That's like a deep pine forest. That's not LA. And I was like, oh my God, that's not LA. We literally cannot even believe what we see. And then there was another one circulating of the Hollywood sign up in flames. Never happened. It was AI. And then there was another one where this plane was dropping that red fire retardant around an area. It was from Oregon 2023. So not only can we not believe what we hear, we also cannot believe what we see.
try to, we don't have clearance.
We don't have to go to the media trailer, right?
I don't know.
Park there, and you're going to walk in those white trailers and look for the trailer that's marked media. So
Okay.
you have the PIO, media, finance, all that stuff is up there. That's the heartbeat of this thing.
Okay.
So it's going to be a little confusing. So when you all please go together.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then when you see someone with a Cal Fire shirt, as you start entering the trailers, even the law enforcement officers are up there. To tell them as a group, we're here to make contact at the media trailer.
Okay.
They should put you right on.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so we just got in. We have not had clearance yet. We're gonna go meet at the media trailer and see if we can get credentials to be here. So we need to find some answers. So we're gonna make it happen. Okay, so we're here. We parked. We are just walking past the beautiful beach. Looks like it has no idea anything has happened. It looks just how it was a week ago. And we're gonna walk down. Everybody here has been really nice and super helpful. He said go past the inmates in the orange jumpsuits eating dinner and park and find the public information office. So that's what we're gonna do. So I feel like these people have been through a lot and I really don't wanna be intrusive to them, but I think most of them probably have a story and who knows, maybe they wanna share it.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, me neither. This is something I've never seen before. There's tents on the beach. This is where I assume some of these guys are being housed. Not a whole lot of chit-chatting happening either. Are they allowed to talk to people though?
I don't know.
Watch if I get in trouble for making a guy break his parole. Oh, maybe we can ask these people? No, it's okay, no worries. Well, we tried. We just found some guys that came in from Modesto and they did not want to speak to us. So we're just gonna keep trying to find somebody who will.
You might be able to run into some firefighters walking and they'll tell you some stuff, but I sure as hell can't.
Yeah.
If they find out it's me,
We don't want that. Yeah, we don't want
I
that.
need you for this.
I don't think we're gonna get anything. No one's gonna tell us how anything started. Did you see his face when I asked? And shut down.
He said the PIO trailer's right here. You can knock on their door and literally interview anybody, but they're not open. Oh, this is so frustrating being a journalist.
I mean, we should come back during the daytime, to be honest. We really should.
We drove all the way around, obviously, like everybody else, but I guess we didn't realize that we weren't going to have Malibu or just PCH access.
Our team is from all over the place that has come together.
Oh, public information officer.
Oh. Yeah, PIO. There we go. They're probably there's a briefing right now, so they're probably...
everybody's at the briefing. Timing of, well, not good.
I don't see.
So we walked the entire length of this maybe 3 times. Everything is pretty much shut down. They're in a briefing for today. We did get to talk to one fireman who came here from San Diego. He came on day 3, actively fought the fires.
LA has full VIP service here. This is what Cal Fire, this is what they do.
I mean, did you know eventually this was going to happen, with the right wind?
We've been talking about this. I've been on for 25 years. We've been talking about it way before I came on.
I mean, somebody started it. The spark doesn't come from nowhere.
When you have super high winds, sometimes it's a car driving by, sometimes it's a cigarette, something like.
Right. So we talked to a guy from Land Conservation, and he said he's been to a fire that was even larger than this, 400,000 acres burned, but that this camp is actually bigger than that one. And he was talking about a fire that happened last year, was not in a residential area. And it just goes to show you the amount of support that we're getting out here. Do you think this was the perfect storm, or do you think we could have caught it early and contained it?
The fire investigators, they released a report that the whole thing was caused by arson, but it was just caused by, some teenagers messing around with, a blowtorch, and they burned down a small shed. But
In the Palisades?
In the Palisades, somewhere in the mountains, right? But combination with the Santa Ana winds, which was going up to about 90 miles per hour, it's just a bad mix,
I didn't hear that. There was a report that the fire was started by a bunch of kids in a shed in the Palisades?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I haven't heard that yet. Wow. Do you feel that if we had adequate water pressure from the start, then it would have been able to contain the fire at all, or you think it was just it would have been out of control no matter what?
It would have been out of control no matter what, because there's a terminology called pluming. So when mixed with the high wind pressures and all that stuff, and of course with the crevices of the mountains, you have, you ever seen you throw something in the floor, it'll plume upwards?
Yeah.
So when you have embers and all that, especially mixed with winds and high wind pressure, heat rises, boom, and then with the winds, it's gonna blow those embers 5 to 15 miles away.
Was it true that there was not adequate water access in the very beginning? Have you heard anything about that?
Most of the news outlets, they've been reporting that that most of it was just due to poor counseling from the bureaucrats. You know, it's just all of that. All of the water management process goes through people, the admins, the pencil pushers, the people in suits, pretty much.
Right.
The water situation, that right there, I can't tell you. You know, you need to speak to someone that's more expertise, especially with the watershed restorations programs and the estuary programs as well.
Right.
Those experts, they'll be able to tell you that, hey, these people, you know, these agencies and all that, they had access to and they had control over these water systems. And, you know, who controls the water and all that stuff, because, you know, most of our water comes from, you know, Mount Shasta and all that stuff. But we also have Nestle, who, you know, Arrowhead and Nestle and all that stuff. They take bottled water and all that, filter it. They take most of the water because they bought most of the property rights over there.
Wow.
And part of their contract is that they get the water rights as well. We're getting support everywhere, you know, surrounding states. We also have the Mexican firefighters here, and as well the Canadian firefighters.
They're here right now?
They're here right
And
now.
I also see the inmates.
We also have the inmates and all that stuff. So, you know, they're all heroes.
So the inmates are cooking?
The inmates are cooking, you know.
Oh.
And, you know, from all the fire camps I've been to federal fire camps, Cal Fire camps. Cal Fire food is always better. They put their soul in there.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, actually I was talking to another guy and he was saying that they cook around the clock.
Well, I bet.
For
I mean, people here.
Thousands of people all day long, and that they're really happy to do it. Okay, well, thank you so much. There's inmates that are cooking meals around the clock for everybody. Supposedly they are very good. This is a huge operation. There's a lot of support here, so at least we got that going for us. So we're just driving out of the base camp and stopping to see some of this wreckage. It is unbelievable. I mean, you can see what little is left of so many homes. The smoke is gone, but the smell is not. You guys can see behind me what once was a multi-million-dollar mansion. The spiral staircase remains intact, but really nothing else is left.
And I rise up, I like the waves, I rise up, in spite of the ache, I rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. The silence is quiet, and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe. And I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet. Move mountains, bring it to its feet. Move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I do it 1,000 times again. For that we have each other, and we will rise, we will rise, we'll rise, we'll rise.
Hi, we are back and heading back to a secret location where firefighters are posted up, still managing the wildfire that is in the Pacific Palisades. I think it's moved, but I don't really know what the containment is. It's not done yet. The other day we had some trouble tracking down people to talk to because they were all in a briefing. So we are just being tenacious and coming right on back now in the light of day, which I think will be a different vibe there, I'm hoping. And maybe they'll let us offer some volunteer work. And if they don't, hopefully we can at least get some people to talk to.
We're at 59% containment, 23,713 acres burned, but it is still an active fire. But 59%, we were at like 0% for 3 days or something. So
we were at 3% for a while too.
Yeah. I wish I would have known the age because I was saying it to my husband. I'm like, I think there are kids in a shed. He goes, what do you mean, like college kids or like 5-year-olds? I'm like, I don't know. We didn't ask that question.
Well, when I told like Olivia that or a couple other people, they were like, well, we did hear that there were like fireworks that went off for New Year's, and then potentially those same fireworks like reignited or something.
You don't need we don't need to get anything. We just want to dig people's brain and see what they're seeing and hearing here on the ground. Well, so we don't have any like motive. We just wanted to get like for people that couldn't get to be here or didn't know what was going on, get like maybe a firefighter or anyone who's been here from the beginning or was here in the beginning would be amazing. But if you have people that you think are great, we're open to. We just wanted some information. So if there are people here, even if it's like a media, I just think it's to show that we really.
So give that number a call. That'll schedule all the media interviews. I would probably direct them down to our media trailer. Somebody that's
See, this would have been nice to have.
Right?
Hi, Dave. We are actually at the beach right now, and we were just provided this information by the PIO office, and we wanted to interview a few people at the beach. Ideally, maybe someone who started out fighting the fires at the beginning.
This is why you have professional assistants.
Okay, that's all right.
So we have a firefighter who I'm going to be speaking to who's part of the Los Angeles Fire Department. He is a communication officer. I'm assuming he's very briefed. So what he's saying, is probably not the whole truth because they're not ready to share all of the information they know yet with the public. But regardless, it'll be interesting to hear how he describes the fire. I have not heard it described from the beginning to where we're at now by somebody who's been here. I mean, the fact that they just have the word prisoner written on their back feels like a little insulting. Can't they just say like detainee?
Hi, this is Lieutenant Varela. I'm saying it right?
So we do have someone somewhat local it's gonna have to be vetted through him. So I'll have to do some phone calls and get him on board and kind of get the approval for the inmates to be interviewed, if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense.
What you're seeing now is within our CAMP program, within the Department of Corrections, we have a custody and a medical classification. So in order to be an inmate firefighter, you need to be custody classified and eligible, and you need to be medically cleared.
I have heard that the food's been really good, so we'd be happy to talk to one of them. And since all the other outlets are getting the firefighters, we'll get the chefs.
this is what they do. This is what they train for.
Yeah.
This is everything that, that the program stands for, right? I mean, they committed a crime. They're trying to fix it. They're in the program. They're trying to right their wrongs, and they get time off their sentence. They get paid. They get fed, and they have opportunities at the end.
Yeah.
So that's why I am positive about it. My sergeant is very positive about the program. There are a lot of staff that are positive about it.
Yeah.
Not only that, if the program didn't exist, that means I would be forced back into the institution. Now, you want to hear about institutional prison stories, and we could go for days.
Yeah.
And I'm over it.
Yeah.
Bottom line, I'm over it.
Well, we were talking to we heard the other night, and one of the guys from San Diego who's been a firefighter for 25 years said that he's worked with CAL FIRE and the inmates forever. He's never seen anything other than the utmost of like that they're excited to be there. They're hardworking. Because we were and he's like, no, I've never seen them do anything that was out of the ordinary or other than like human things. Yeah. So he spoke very highly of it.
I just reached out to one of the resources, the volunteer programs. The inmates are running low on hygiene.
Okay.
I can't just sit there and say, too bad, so sad.
Right.
They're serving food. They need to have basic hygienic needs.
Even if they weren't for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. It's just basic human rights, and human needs. So hopefully, if everything goes through, they're going to donate about 55 toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, basic hygiene needs.
We can probably get that for you if you need it. I'm going somewhere tomorrow to do a bunch of volunteering with a bunch of stuff that's been dropped off at someone's place. That half the trouble is no one knows where to take what and who needs what. So I'd be happy to help.
Okay, David Ortiz is so happy to talk to you. Thank you so much for taking the time. Have you been here from the beginning of these fires?
Yes.
Okay, and so were you one of the first people to give that very first evacuation notice?
So once we were able to obtain the parameters of what areas needed to be evacuated from incident command, that alert was sent out. In the meantime, I hopped in my car and I headed out this way to support the command and control and also the information for the public.
Oh, wow. So were you actively fighting fires or you were just doing the communication side?
I was doing communications.
Okay. What can you tell me about all the different rumors that people have floating around about, like, the fire hydrants were empty, there was water, there wasn't enough of the water pressure? What went on with the water situation in the beginning of the fires?
Well, water was one of the factors in our inability to fight this very large fire. This is not our typical brush fire, and these are not the typical brush firefighting conditions that we face here in Los Angeles.
Okay.
Every year we have brush fires, and we train and practice with not just our firefighters, but those fire departments that are all around us. And we are one of the largest fire response, if not the largest fire response in the United States on the first initial alarm. So when you call 911, you have the largest response of resources of anywhere in the United States.
Wow.
And that is amazing. That surprises a lot of people, but the result is the reason why we have that very large response, because it takes us to be able to extinguish a fire in the beginning phases. Otherwise, we saw what happens when it gets out of control.
Okay.
And what we had was a conflagration. So this was above and beyond a regular brush fire that we have every year here in Southern California. Sometimes it's the LA City Fire Department that gets it. Sometimes it's our neighbors in the county, Ventura County, Riverside, San Bernardino. We all face the same type of situations every 15 to 20 years.
Oh.
That's when things line up. When we have drought, which we've had for the last decade with 1 year of rain, and again, last year was another dry year.
Mm-hmm.
We have conditions of the vegetation. They're absolutely tinder dry. Earlier in the morning, you noticed there was a fog, a marine layer, overcast. And by noontime, it was all dried up.
Right.
The vegetation that died because of the drought, that's not coming back to life with any amount of rain.
Right.
In addition to that, we have the Santa Ana winds that we contend with every year. And those Santa Ana winds are called what we call in Southern California red flag conditions. Any time that we have above 25 mile per hour winds and anything below 15% relative humidity, that's a red flag condition. Well, this was not just moderate condition. This was extreme fire behavior where we had 100 mile an hour wind gusts. When you have hurricane winds pushing embers of a whole hillside onto a community, onto a city, you could see that it was basically an apocalyptic type of situation where fire was raining down on this community, and there were no number of pre-positioned fire engines that we could have had to be able to defend and keep all these homes from burning, because they were all taking off at the same time.
Okay.
Add to that the hundreds of firefighters that were there on scene at the beginning, because we did augment staffing, we did pre-position fire engines. The state, the county, they had already pre-positioned people into the region from Northern California to Southern California. Also, they pre-positioned their resources, as we did, in the areas that we know we have fires historically. The threat was not just to Pacific Palisades. It was all along what we call the historical path of brush fires, which is all along the mountains, the Santa Monica's, and all along the mountains of the San Fernando Valley.
Okay.
So all those historical pathways of fires, they do the same thing every year. Multiply that several times over, increase the temperature, increase the speed, increase the strength.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we had.
Wow.
And there's a lot of criticism, like you said. There's a lot of people saying, well, I've been a chief and I would have done this and I would have done that.
Mhm.
They weren't sitting in that seat.
Right.
And those people that are saying those things right now for
Mhm.
selfish reasons,
Mhm.
to maybe make themselves have fame. I know of a friend of mine who's, I don't consider a friend anymore,
Yeah.
who's writing a book and trying to get recognition for his book. He was one of those people that were criticizing, but he's no longer with the fire department. He retired. He wasn't there. And for people to criticize what happened without
Right.
actually being there, it's irresponsible.
Totally.
Our fire department, our city right now needs people to put out positive information
Mhm.
that's going to help the situation, not take away any trust that we have in our fire chief.
Right.
It is my belief that my fire chief did everything that was humanly possible within the resources that she had
Mhm.
to save and protect the Palisades. She had the best incident commander
Mhm.
in charge of that incident. She had all the resources that were available running to this area. But add again to that, multiple large brush fires taking off throughout the region.
Right.
So the region who could have come to our aid were coming to aid to other fire departments, other areas that were also burning
Right.
and losing homes.
Yeah, I haven't heard actually, and I don't know, maybe this is just that I personally haven't heard. I haven't heard anybody criticize the fire department. I've heard a lot of criticism of the city of Los Angeles and California as a state. Do you feel like you guys had everything you needed to do the best job you could do?
There's always the opportunity to improve our staffing. Our staffing for the Los Angeles Fire Department has been limited.
Okay.
And I know that during the downturn in the economy when I first started with this fire department 20 some years ago, caused us to close down a lot of fire companies. We had an ability to surge because we had reserve engines that were pressed into frontline service because our reserve engines, we didn't have mechanics to fix them.
Right. I heard there's a whole parking lot full of engines that are not being
Right.
used.
So we are doing the best we can with what we have.
Right.
And we've been cut to the bone and we've been doing the best that we can with what we have. And could have things been better? Yes. Would have made a difference? I don't know.
Who's to say?
Who's to say? Because the firestorm that was upon us was one that many of us have never experienced and will probably never experience again during our fire careers.
Was it expected in a certain way?
It was expected. The intensity with which it bear down, with which the winds blew, the erraticness of the winds, you couldn't get ahead of this fire.
Right.
So usually what we do is what we look for windows and opportunities to engage this fire from canyon to canyon when it's moving along the fire front. And so we move these strikings into those areas, into those canyons to be able to get ahead of these fires.
Right.
We didn't have that ability. We were reacting instead of strategizing because the winds kept changing on us.
Okay.
So as we reacted and we put people in one spot, they had to be mobile and react and go to the other position, to other positions because there was multiple positions.
Right.
So the strategy became one of saving lives above property.
Right. Right. And it sounds like those numbers were relatively pretty good considering the area that this fire covered. Tell me about the brush. A lot of people are saying, the fire department doesn't have enough resources to properly clear the brush, and if we had better maintained the land, it would have spread maybe slower.
Like I said, there's a lot of people that are criticizing who really don't have all the information.
Right.
None of us do.
Right.
None of us do. And I can say that I am not aware of everything that happened in this incident because my ability to receive information is limited to what I am able to absorb.
Right, all of us.
So I have flown over the Pacific Palisades 10 years before this fire. And 10 years ago, I looked down and I said, wow, well, if that ever burns, we're going to be in trouble.
Uh-oh.
So we were very aware of that vegetation. We were aware of the potential for fire, but we need to change the way we manage our fuels in California, particularly in areas that require conservation because there are endangered species, because there's Some people that don't feel that prescribed burns are adequate or appropriate. So we have to deal with those politics that are part of the firefighting environment.
Totally.
And so, yes, can we have done more? Can we have prevented a lot? We could have built better homes, more resistant homes. But a lot of these houses were built before modern technology and modern known science on how we build homes.
Okay.
And you can see that some houses are surrounded by blocks and blocks of burnt out houses. But they survived because they used the right materials. They were engineered to resist fire without even having a fire engine there to protect it.
Wow. That was crazy to see. There's a few houses that looks like it was just protected by God, but it sounds like there's science to it. Can you tell me about the water? Like, I know there was a reservoir that was empty and maybe some of the fire hydrant.
I wasn't there pumping. I wasn't there at the pump,
Right.
but I've been to other brush fires with similar situations where we have so many fire engines pumping at the same time that the demand of the fire engines for the firefight is more than what the system is able to provide. And I know that thousands of gallons were being flowed.
Right.
And we sucked those hydrants dry. Was it because of a hydrant problem with being supplied by a reservoir? Was it because there was a malfunction in the pumps? I can't answer those questions.
Right.
I am not an engineer.
Okay.
But I can tell you what I have experienced at a fire, and we run out of water. Unfortunately, this fire did not happen in a little community up in the mountains, which is typically where these types of things happen.
Right.
This happened inside the city of Los Angeles. And that's what's different. The magnitude, the strength, it was the perfect firestorm.
So this time for that perfect storm, I heard one of the reservoirs was under maintenance. Why was it under maintenance at that time? Do you know?
That's a question for Department of Water and Power, who maintains those reservoirs. I don't know what the ground truth is about that.
You're right.
Whether it was or whether it wasn't. There were hydrants at the lower elevations that did have water.
That did?
Yes.
Okay.
So the system works as a gravity-fed system. And there's water above, and people use the water in these tanks throughout the day for your regular domestic use. The fire department has the same system feeding our hydrants.
Okay.
So as people are wetting down their roofs and wetting down their plants and using water inefficiently because it all evaporates before the fire front arrives, we were actually trying to use that same water to put water on the flames as it was approaching houses. How you can tell the difference between an experienced firefighter and a seasoned firefighter is that the seasoned firefighter will conserve the water and wait till the fire front comes to them and then protect the homes.
Okay.
They won't be squirting water at the vegetation because guess what? All that stuff's going to evaporate when the fire front comes. Our objective is to save the houses, as many as we can, and even at that, we were ineffective.
Okay. All right. Thank you. I have one last question. Do we have any information on whether this was human error, human caused?
That's a question for ATF.
Okay.
They are leading the investigation. They have
Okay.
it all sealed up.
Yep.
They have all the resources in the world here in California that are part of this investigation, not just this fire, but all the fires.
How do most fires start? And are there getting more fires every year?
Yeah, statistically, most fires are human caused, either by air or sometimes by failures in the power lines dropping down on grass.
Okay.
We have a fresh crop of grass from the rains we had the year prior to this last one. And so now we have the grass, we have the dead vegetation from drought, and it's off to the races.
Okay. Have you seen a lot of increased fires from the homeless?
Yes.
Okay.
As a fellow Californian, what can we do to support, to get you guys everything you need and to make sure this doesn't happen again? I think everyone's thinking that. What can we do?
There's so many things that can be done. I can think of the Ready, Set, Go plan. Everybody who lives in the mountainside, hillside communities, any area where there's brush should be very aware of what the Ready, Set, Go program is and have every member of the family go through it. Secondly, people can harden their homes, make them more resistant to fire. And LAFD.org has a lot of good information. FEMA has a lot of good information. The state of California website has a lot of great information. The information is out there. It's up to the individual to get out there and inform themselves and find out what they can do to make their homes resistant.
Right.
And when you talk about that, I mean, when people are getting ready, we have red flag days like today where the winds are, taking things into the air. When you have hurricane winds, it picks up furniture, patio furniture. It picks up chairs. It picks up sun visors that are in your house and throws them through windows. So you might have built a perfect fire-resistant house, but if this stuff's coming through your windows because you didn't secure your patio furniture, and then you ask yourself, well, I did everything to protect my house. Well, you forgot the patio furniture.
Right.
Throw it into the pool. Put it in the garage before you leave.
Right.
Leave the keys of your car so we can move your car out of the way if you have to get on foot and get out.
Okay.
What am I looking for? How do I educate myself on what to vote for and what to do so that you guys have all the money you need to have mechanics and whatever?
That's a very good question. That's way above my pay grade.
Mine too. That's why I thought you'd tell me.
I'm just a firefighter, and for the people that have to make those high-level decisions, I wouldn't want to be in their seats because they have to decide between libraries for our children, our beautiful animals that we all love, fire protection, police.
Yeah.
It's a very hard decision. I wouldn't touch that question with a 10-foot pole. But what I can tell you is David Ortiz, as a citizen, I don't want to pay more taxes.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's a hard decision.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Right. It is.
Okay.
I think people are going to be looking into it at least a little bit deeper. I will.
Yeah.
So, okay.
All right. Thank you so much for all your time and for all your
Thank you for
efforts.
everything you guys do. I can't even imagine. I was sitting in my house just like freaking out, and you guys are out there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really sad that there's people that are for selfish reasons trying to promote their own agenda, whether it's political, whether it's professional gain or notoriety.
Yeah.
It's very disappointing. You're really seeing what is really in people's hearts, and a lot of good is coming out. The Red Cross, they are helping so many people right now. They're bringing food to our fire stations, and I'm telling them, no, give your money to the Red Cross, feed those people that need the help.
Yeah.
Our firefighters are supported by this.
Yeah.
They're getting fed plenty good.
Right.
It's the people that have lost everything, their livelihood, that don't know how they're going to survive tomorrow and need our help.
Yeah.
And they are our neighbors.
Yeah.
We feel for them.
Yeah.
So please spread that message.
I definitely will.
We will.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Nice to meet
Appreciate
you.
it. Nice to meet you too.
Thank you.
Good luck at the
Thank
press
you.
conference.
Thank you, man.
So we just left. We got an amazing interview. We talked to we talked to a lieutenant, and we talked to a firefighter who's in charge of communicating with the public what exactly has gone on and what continues to go on. And we caught a little bit of a briefing at the end as we were leaving, and sounds like they have made some serious progress. The conversation that we had with David was surprising because it was like everybody's kind of right. The people who, have strong views on either political side of the spectrum, he kind of confirmed almost both at the same time, which was really interesting. I think a lot of people want there to be one right answer, and it's not that black and white according to him. So it was really nice to hear that he's, super proud of everything that his organization has been able to do. And he did seem disappointed that certain people and, firefighters from other areas or ex-firefighters, have made comments about that they would have done things differently. But the fact is, nobody was there. Not everybody was there. And he even said that he doesn't have all the information and that nobody can. So anybody who's claiming to know absolutely everything, they're full of shit. Because even the people who were there from the beginning and are still there fighting the fires, they will even tell you that they just don't have all the information. You can't be a firefighter, an engineer, a water specialist, a politician, all at the same time. And there's so many moving parts that it feels like there can be, maybe a few right answers at the same time, and that's kind of what he confirmed for us. So thank you guys so much for following along this kind of makeshift journey that we have embarked on, and please leave your comments below. Let us know what you think. Let us know if you have any opinions, anything you think we missed. And don't forget to like and subscribe.